So the Stage 1 Power Pack from Ford Performance should appeal to both manual and automatic GT owners alike who are looking to make a little bit more power over the factory calibration using two incredibly simple modifications: a drop-in K&N filter along with the Ford Performance ProCal Tool and calibration. Now this kit will be 50 state emissions legal. It will require the use of 91 octane or higher fuel. Prospective buyers can look forward to gains of 13 horsepower, 16 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels, mind you, and even larger gains underneath the curve. As far as pricing, the Power Pack will be comparable to other tuning options on the site at around that $500 price point, and we'll get a simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter from me when it comes time to talk about the installation, which we will do so in a little bit. Now, I just mentioned those advertised gains from Ford Performance, but we wanted to put those to the test on our very own dyno jet. So we established a baseline run using our manual 2015 GT, then dropped in the K&N filter, flashed the car with the ProCal tool, reran our GT, and here are those results. Our baseline run using our manual GT gave us 382 horsepower, 359 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheels. With the Ford Performance Stage 1 Power Pack installed, the car is now making 395 horsepower and 380 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheels, which is good for peak gains of 13 horsepower and 21 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheels, and gains of as much as 30 foot-pounds of torque under the curve. So as you guys can see, our numbers lined up pretty closely with the advertised Ford Performance numbers. In fact, we nailed the horsepower right on the nose, and we actually made 5 more foot-pounds of torque compared to those advertised numbers, which is always a good thing to point out. Our numbers under the curve weren't as impressive, 30 foot-pounds compared to the advertised 40, which is still a great number, don't get me wrong. And that's what you're gonna feel under normal driving situations, light to light, things like that. Now, in addition to the power gain, Ford Performance does claim some other benefits here using their Stage 1 kit, but more specifically, their calibration and ProCal tool. Now, stick cars will look forward to the very cool no lift shift feature, which just basically means you guys can leave your foot planted to the floor while banging those gears. You're also looking at slightly improved throttle response as well. Automatic cars, on the other hand, do see a slightly different shift schedule and firmer shifts overall. Always a nice thing to point out there. Now, both auto and stick cars can use the ProCal tool to read diagnostic trouble codes, and you can also use this thing to recalibrate your speedometer if and when you do swap out gears down the road, up to a 409 gear ratio to be exact. I do want to point out that the ProCal tool is not a traditional tuner in the sense that there's no screen, there's no buttons, anything like that. You're simply just plugging this thing into your car's OBD2 port, using the included USB cable to tap your laptop into this thing, and then from there just making all of the magic happen. Now, if you did want to look into a fancier device to get the onboard data logging, the real-time monitoring, all the fancy bells and whistles essentially, you're going to need to start looking at a different device on the site here, either from SCT or Diablo Sport. But keep in mind, guys, those options don't come with the warranty benefits that the Ford Performance Stage 1 Power Pack is offering. But let's switch our focus away from the ProCal tool here over to the K&N high flow oil drop-in filter. Apparently, guys at Ford Performance deemed the factory filter inadequate and therefore felt the need to include a high flow option from one of the most trusted names in the industry. Now, that K&N filter will drop right into your factory airbox without modification. It is washable, it is reusable. Gonna save you a few bucks in the long run compared to throwing out those paper element filters every year or so. One thing to keep in mind here, guys, just follow K&N's strict washing and re-oiling procedures very closely. This way you can enjoy years of hassle-free performance from the K&N on your S550 GT. But at the end of the day, guys, you can see this is an extremely simple power pack from Ford Performance. Now, if you did crave a little bit more power, the guys over at Ford Performance do offer a couple more power packs. Their Stage 2 is going to toss in the GT350 cold air intake along with their throttle body and calibration, or you could kick it up a notch and even check out the Stage 3 Power Pack, which will include everything in the Stage 2 in addition to the GT350 intake manifold for big high RPM gains. Now, of course, the higher the power pack, the more you can expect to spend. The big boy Stage 3 Power Pack is going to set you back nearly 2 Gs, while the Stage 2, I think, is very affordable. You're getting that GT350 cold air along with the throttle body and calibration for the high $700 price point, which again, I think is very reasonable. Obviously though guys, the Stage 1 is going to be your most affordable here on the site at right around the $500 price point. But as promised, let's quickly touch on the installation here, and as I pointed out at the very top of this video guys, very simple stuff. 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, maybe 30 minutes to an hour to swap out your filter and upload the calibration. Now, if you guys are going to be taking care of the install and not your local dealer, then you will need to have a laptop on hand before getting started with the installation to plug into your ProCal device. A little piece of advice for you here guys, go to FordRacingParts.com/register to register your ProCal and download the necessary software before getting started with this install. Now once you have your software downloaded and the ProCal ready to go, head out to your car, pop the hood, and pop open that factory air box, releasing the 2 clips. You don't need any tools for this to unveil that factory filter. Toss that thing in the trash, drop in the K&N, and that portion of the install is complete. Now with the filter installed, hop in the car with your laptop and ProCal and plug the actual device into your car's OBD2 port. At this point, wait for everything to power on, and you will notice that the ProCal will ask to read your VIN along with asking for your calibration code. Once you make your selections, go ahead and program the vehicle and just reference the little gauge on the actual screen. It'll alert you when the upload has been completed. At this point, unplug everything and your installation is complete. Wrapping things up here guys, the Ford Performance Stage 1 Power Pack will deliver a noticeable increase in power and throttle response while being extremely easy to install. Factor in the ability to maintain that factory warranty, and you got a very appealing package for owners who aren't concerned with making a ton of extra power. So that is my review here of the Ford Performance Stage 1 Power Pack, which you can grab right here at AmericanMuscle.com.